Very good morning. Asmi Dr. Kothari, Chief Guest, Mr. Krishna, Mr. Mohanty, Mr. Sanjay Singh, and of course Mr. Chandrana. Let me start by saying that if you are surprised to see me as keynote speaker this morning, I am more surprised than you. For the first time, about half an hour ago, I knew that I was told that I am going to be the keynote speaker. So if you find it interesting, the keynote speech, then the credit is mine. But if you find it useless, then the discredit is Mr. Secretary and the President, not my fault. So therefore choice is yours, and in any case they say that every serious conference should start with a comedy, so this is the comedy that I am the keynote speaker. Anyway, enjoy this moment. Having said that, as Sanjay rightly said, that over a period of time, paper industry has come up a long way. When we started 40-50 years ago in the industry, the sustainability, the environment had no meaning. In fact, very frankly, even the Air Pollution Act so-called came in 1989 only. Water Pollution Act also came sometime in the late 70s, early 80s. And if at all we talk about sustainability and environment, it was only purely a compliance issue rather than a policy issue with the paper mills. If by and large I was meeting the standards or making pollution control believe that I am meeting the standards, whether I met it or not, my purpose was served. And I have said, as I have said in the earlier many times, that as long as you could manage the pollution board, managing pollution was not important at all. And I'm sure that that period has changed and now even managing pollution has become a very big issue. So therefore, it's not that all of you are from paper industry, you know it much better than I know. But giving a perspective, starting from almost 350 cubic meters of water per ton of paper, we are down to about 5-6 cubic meters in recycled paper mills, so even less than that. And even composite mills are talking about 25 to 30 cubic meters and still working on that to bring it down. I remember a long time back in 90s, I presented a paper on energy conservation in CII Madras seminar. And when we talk about that, we are consuming about 9 tons of steam per ton of paper. I was given lots of credit because general norm was 13-14 tons of steam. Today mills are down to composite mills. I'm not talking about recycled, which are much lower. Even composite mills have come down to 7 tons, 7.5 tons of steam per ton of paper. And similarly on energy sources. Similarly, the compliance part and the let's say talking about our discharges. I don't think that today there is any mill. There may be exceptions who are no longer compliant as far as law is concerned. In fact, we are much better than what the legal requirement is. So what has been drivers of all these changes over these years? So that we talk about future, what is going to happen in future. Let's see what have been drivers of these changes in paper mills. Of course, one was the policy part of the policy compliance. As the government policies, the regulatory policies changed over a period of time, mills did make effort to comply with that. That was one part of it. But more important was the sustainability issue. Because, see, pollution control board was, let's say, 100 miles away from my mill. It was not there. But the society I lived in was next door. The people, let's say nearby villages, nearby cities, they were much more pressure point than the pollution board itself. The pollution man would come once in a month or once in 3 months to check my emission. But if anything went out of my boiler or my pollution street, the water street, the local society will come immediately. I know what kind of sit-ins and dharnas I have faced in my mills, because they said कि हमारे घर के कपड़े काले हो जाते हैं, आपके बॉयलर से धुआं निकलता है. And like a fool we also said कि हम तो husk use करते हैं, we have no way, आएगा. But then gradually we realized that no, this no longer works. We can't make excuses, we can't say that no, this is not technically possible. If you have to live in society, survive in society, you have to do whatever it takes to do that. Today, I think all of the boilers, as Mr. Sanjay Singh said, that because in our case, the power was a big issue, so if chimney was working, we said that okay, power is there, the mill is working from miles away. Today, that has completely changed. So therefore, one was the policy issue, secondly was the sustainability and the societal pressure which came on us. And third, of course, the biggest driver was the economic part of it. Gradually, the mill supply kind of realized this thing that being environmentally compliant or being, let's say, environmentally doing much better is not only a legal requirement, this is the, let's say, economic requirement also. Today we realize that if we become more compliant, it makes economic sense also. If I save on energy, this is not only the PAT requirement or government requirement, this is my own economic requirement that I consume less of resources, less of water, less of everything. So third factor became the economic factor. And the fourth biggest driver of our past performance has been our customers. We have already said, many times we have felt also, that our customers were far advanced than we were. Paper mills lag behind in technology. Talking about printing presses, आपने printing presses में जो development करी, जो आपको requirement थी आपको कि अपने एक दिन में बात छापने, स्पीड में छापने हैं, आप टॉलरेट ही नहीं कर सकते कि आपकी रील टूटे वहाँ पे. अगर रील ब्रेक होगी तो जो नुकसान होगा आपका वो जो होगा. Similarly, packaging sector, the cardboard, the board manufacturers, the carton manufacturers had much more advanced machines than the paper mills who were producing the craft paper. So that again became a big driver, because if I have to cater to the requirement of my customers, then there is no choice with me but to remain more and more technologically advanced so that I keep pace with the market. And fourth, last and not least, became pressure from my overseas customers. Now, the kind of environmental pressure, the chlorine-free paper, you see, why talk about only environment? Child labor will not be engaged, this labor will not be engaged. Today, the inquiry is going on in America to put, they are using, in fact, they will be media or other looking for excuses anywhere, but one of it is that is child labor being involved, or is low-paid labor being involved in manufacturing. So that is one part, but otherwise sustainability, chlorine-free paper and everything that. So now we have reached a stage where we are compliant today. We are much nearer to international standards. The gap has been, suppose in the 20 years, 25 years gap between what Europe does and what India does in technology. Today we are hardly 3, 4, 5 years behind what the latest mills do worldwide. But having said that, you can't, let's say, sit on your laurels that, I say that from 250 tons or to 300 tons I have come to 25 tons or 30 tons of water. But that doesn't mean that I can sit on my laurels and say, no, everything is done. So this particular seminar which we are talking about next day, so there were 3 parameters. One is the policy parameters, because government policies, the regulatory authorities will keep on making it more stringent. It's not that at one point of time we said that okay, see CREP, we have CREP 1, CREP 2. CREP came as a voluntary kind of let's say this is my charter. As an industry, we agree to do this, but this was voluntary. But who believes in this forum that this was voluntary? We said it voluntary, but it became mandatory immediately. Therefore, government will keep on changing policies, keep on making it more stringent. So that would be one parameter which will govern that what we do in the future. Number two is, yes, policy is there. But is there a technology available for implementing that policy? So technology would also play a big role. I give you my example because see, I represented a sector which was just started in the early 80s making paper from wheat straw or gas. And certain parameters we said कि ये तो संभव नहीं है, ये हो नहीं पाएगा. For example, the biggest thing was chemical recovery. In each and every fora, we said that no, yes, we are agro-based mills, we are serving so much cost for the farmer, for the economy, but chemical recovery is not possible. And technocrats did agree with us. It's not that as a mill we said, even research organizations did say that yes, chemical recovery with wheat straw liquor or bagasse liquor is not possible. And in fact, because was part of many policy formulation bodies, including Development Council. I still remember that I represented the agro-based mills, and there were few comments from the larger mills, so-called larger mills, but I would say wood-based mills, saying that this sector must be closed because they are not, let's say, environmentally sustainable sectors. But then the pressure came on us, and probably we were the first mill who brought a chemical recovery plant way back in 1995, but which is running till date, and not many mills survived in the initial stages because this alternative was available. So what I am trying to say is that once there are pressures, once there are policy formulations, technology does come in. I don't even for a minute think that there would be a technological vacuum whenever some requirement for sustainability is there. And third, of course, is sustainability because we can't wish it away. And besides these three factors, the advent of the digital technologies, advent of AI. See, AI today is hitting the economy across the board. See, if mills like organizations like TCS and Infosys, those big names, they are facing the heat. Who are we? We will definitely face the heat of AI and replacement of manpower by much more advanced technologies. So therefore, these factors will determine the future course of action for paper industry. Would we succeed? Or would be closed down? I am very sure because very genuine, having seen the paper industry over last almost 5 decades, where paper industry came out of big challenges always, there were certain unsurmountable challenges, but still paper industry came out of it. Paper industry, I have said in lecture many a time, paper industry is one industry where future is always bright. Your past, your present may be not as bright as one would like to be, but future has always been bright. So I'm very sure that with the technical equipment which we have in our technocrats, with the availability of technology worldwide, and the opening up of economies where it has become much easier. We have seen the days when import policy was all red lines. You could import only second-hand paper machines from abroad, or DG sets from Czechoslovakia or Yugoslavia or rupee payment area. Because not even a single dollar could be spent on imports. Those were the days. Today imports are easy. So I'm very sure that once we make up our mind, the times are challenging, they were always challenging, but in future also, we shall be future ready, and this convergence of policy, the technology, the sustainability, and other external environmental pressures on us, economic environmental pressure on us, we shall be there, and wishing you all the best. Thank you very much for your patience.